Hello and welcome, Exiles. I realize that I'm going to be playing this character a decent amount of time. I'm just enjoying it and I want to play it and min-max it fully. But that also means it's going to be a while before I have a fully min-maxed guide for it. So what I'm doing today is I'm going to give you a little showcase of me just running a Veritania Awakener 9 so you can see, okay, this is what it looks like doing a Conqueror. And also, in the description below, I'm going to put a plethora of information for you guys if you want to start Righteous Fire, about budget options, about gearing options, about progression. I'm going to try to give a better POB with leveling trees, stuff like that. So if you want to start this character before, I've played it for 2 weeks and enjoyed and like min-max and stuff, because the guide's going to be a little while till I do that, I just wanted to make this video here for information about starting the character. While I'm doing this Veritania, I'll talk about priority upgrades and stuff like that, and I'll try to emphasize it in the description below. I'll probably have the same stuff in the POB like notes as well, so you can look at that as a resource. But I really just wanted to do that in case there are people, because I've had some people come into my stream and ask questions, be like, hey, what's the pros, cons, what's the budget options, stuff like that, and that way I can direct them to this resource, because it's a lot of information when it comes to starting Righteous Fire about the do's and don'ts and the min-maxing and versus budget options, stuff like that. So I want to give a more full answer to those sorts of questions here, and I can direct them here in case it's like more than I would be able to answer in just like a short, frame of time. There's multiple people asking different questions. There's going to be questions that they'll still have I can't just answer in a short period of time, and that way if I give this video, hopefully it answers the majority of the questions you guys might have about starting Righteous Fire, what upgrades to prioritize, stuff like that. So that is the reason for this. Hopefully it is useful and good information. To start off with, while I'm just clearing this map to discuss about priority upgrades, I cannot stress enough, in terms of the first big upgrade you're going to make and something you want to invest towards, it is going to be the Glorious Vanity with the Bathed in Blood by Doriani. It transforms Keystones near the jewel you socket it into Corrupted Soul. Corrupted Soul gains 15% life as ES, which is a big bonus to our EHP, but the most important thing it does is it splits the damage we take 50-50 between our energy shield pool and our life pool. This ends up making the sustain feel real good because it's splitting that Righteous Fire damage between the life and ES pool, because we have double the regen based on Inquisitor, both going to our life pool and then doubled back onto our ES pool. So this is beautiful matrimony with Inquisitor, and I strongly recommend the first thing you save up for is that Glorious Vanity. I don't know how expensive a Replica Soul Tether is, but if Replica Soul Tether is cheap, that could be an option to get yourself that Keystone as soon as possible. 100% prioritize this, and you'll notice in the POB I have Agnostic allocated. You're not using Agnostic until you have this jewel. So that's one of the things I want to make sure I emphasize. You guys want to prioritize this. Another thing that I want to emphasize for newer RF players, and I've even made this mistake from time to time when I've played Righteous Fire, is you need to get elemental equilibrium right. If you get it wrong, you're going to be significantly hampering your damage, and in a big way. It'll feel very bad if you get elemental equilibrium wrong. And all you have to do to make sure you get it right is on all your pieces of gear, you need to check and make sure you do not have any flat fire damage to spells. You can check your tooltip on your Stormbrand, because this is the skill we use to proc Elemental Equilibrium. You'll see when I get to like a rare pack that I'm like, okay, this is a tanky guy. I'll proc the Stormbrand. He'll lose minus 50 fire res, and all of a sudden we're dealing a lot more damage. The important thing you can do is you can just hover over the tooltip of Stormbrand and see, okay, it only deals 24 to 78 lightning damage. I don't see any fire damage there. You're good to go. Other thing is, if you're using Pyre rings, which are great early leveling rings, they give a bunch of burning damage. They're really pretty nice early on. I'm going to recommend them. But if you use those, you cannot have any flat cold dispels, because the flat cold dispels will, they will give you, what's it called? They'll get converted to fire, because Pyre rings give you 40% cold to fire conversion. So if you use those rings, again, you need to check for flat cold dispels. Normally you wouldn't, but if you're using those rings as temporary, they have that property to them. So figured I should mention that here. And then Veritania, I think we can pretty much just chill on these things. No, we can't. I totally lied. I thought I could. I think I've done it before a little bit farther away, and I proc Endure and Cry for like the projectile attack there. What that attack does is it releases a ton of projectiles, and they start all at the center of her. So what I was doing was standing right underneath her. I was going to try to tank as much of the damage as possible, and I haven't tested that before, and we learned today it is too much damage to tank that attack right underneath it. Normally, you know, it has a nice visual cue, you just dodge out of the way. It's not a big deal. That's honestly the first time I died to Veritania. I regret testing it out a little bit, but it's fine. It's not a big deal. Veritania is still a very easy fight for us. We pretty much can tank all of her attacks, so it's not too big of a deal. I also probably should have fortified, which was a mistake on my end, not doing that. But, you know, mistakes are made. It happens. Anyways, I am going to put a lot more information about do's and don'ts of Righteous Fire, as well as options to get yourself started and running this build. Definitely, in my opinion, can work on not much currency. I've pinpointed the center of expense for this build when I've looked at my gear pieces, and it all really has been coming back to Shadow Stitch, my shield, and things like Unnatural Instinct. That's the majority of the expense, and there's other cheaper options that'll do decently, get you like 80% of the way, type of thing. I think you can do cheaper gear. You can go all the way to Shaper, Elder, Cirrus, stuff like that you should be able to do. The limitation, I would say, is maybe going into things like Maven and the harder invitation fights like the Hidden and the Feared. We have successfully done Maven, which I was really happy about yesterday, so that's a check off the box. We did the Hidden, which I was happy about. We still have to do the Feared. I tried the Feared yesterday. We got 3 of the last bosses down to 30% HP. It was really pretty close. I need to get it a little bit more improved gear-wise, and I think this build will be able to take down the Feared, so I'm excited to try that. But yeah, anyways, I'm going to emphasize upgrades to do if you're going at this from more of a budget perspective, and gear progression along those lines. Stuff like that you can look into. Also, one thing I want to emphasize now, because I'm not sure how I'm going to outline this with words too easily, I don't know, but if you're not doing Unnatural Instinct, this is one of the last upgrades I would get. It's not something you prioritize. You just unspec these 3 passive nodes here. You grab 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's just one more passive, and it gets you more % fire damage. It gets you a little bit less AoE, and it gets you a little bit less regen, but it saves you a lot of passive points, and that's what I'd recommend as an alternative to things like Unnatural Instinct. And there will be other alternatives I recommend for gear slots as well. So, anyways, that is the update on the character. Definitely check out the description below if you're interested in starting this character. Hopefully I get some good information for you guys to use, and I'm definitely planning to keep playing this character and min-max it and get a full build guide on it. I've really been enjoying it, so hope you guys enjoy the video. Thanks for watching as always. I will see you guys next time. Peace out. Have a good one.